Moving from the ACC into the best conference ever, the SEC. Gators got another W last night, against Tennessee.
A little gritty there in the first.
Gritty in the first half. They were favored by 18. They covered their points, which I was happy about. To me, that was like, look, it's not a real win unless we cover, because we were such favorites, and we just had such a great game against Bama.
Sure. Well, Tennessee really does have your number.
Yeah, so I wasn't going to be too worried about it, but they haven't won it forever.
But won since 2003.
But it's always a good game.
Like
it's always a good game. Any of those games, like the Tennessee game, the Florida State game, those games are always good games because Kentucky, they play a little bit. You know what I mean?
But the Tennessee one is different. The Tennessee one is Tennessee can't ever beat Florida.
I think it's a curse.
It's something. I mean, even Peyton Manning, in all his glory, went 0 for 4.
0 for 4.
I want to say the last time that Tennessee won in Gainesville might have been like 0-1.
Could be even longer than that. I'm not quite sure on that one, to be honest with you.
I know that after September 11, that was the week. When September 11 happened, it was Tuesday, and that was supposed to be the Florida Tennessee game that week.
Okay,
and they pushed it. All the sports stopped that week.
Sure.
But they pushed it to where you guys had to play Florida State and Tennessee back-to-back. And I think that's when Tennessee won.
Got that because of a little bit of
Travis
strength in the
Stevens,
schedule.
Yeah, I think there was
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been too long for it.
No. It's been a good time.
It's
been a solid time.
Depends on which color orange you're wearing.
So the question is, again, they did well. They came out, first half looked a little wobbly. Second half, they didn't let them score at all.
Right.
Unscored in the second half. The defense is the biggest issue right now. I think their offense is getting stronger and more cohesive with each game. Emory Jones has seemed to really step up and take over that role, which is good because I know he was fighting with Anthony Richards getting hurt. Getting that little hammy at the USF game might have been the best thing for the Gators, to be honest. Because we were all out here screaming AR-15. When you have that, you've got the drama. Look, this is why Dan Mullen's the coach. And I was calling him out saying he's going to ride it too long. Emory's done a good job the last 2 games.
Just like his brother Dan. Does a hell of a job.
What did I say?
Dave.
Dan Mullen. My bad, guys. I don't even know why I said Dave. So I think Emory's really kind of finding his groove. He looks good. The offense looks good. The running offense looks fantastic. Again, the defense is what needs to get it figured out, which I think they're going to. Hopefully, they're still missing their best defensive player.
Yeah, their middle linebacker.
Yeah, the middle linebacker. So that plays a factor into it. But it's going to be interesting to see. They got some tough games still. They don't have an easy schedule by any means.
No. The one thing I will say, and this is just from the outside looking in, and if Florida was my team, I'm sure I'd be a lot more critical of them. But from the outside looking in, coming into the year, defense was a huge question mark for you guys. It was a question on whether Todd Grantham could turn the defense around. They did not have a good year last year, even with Trask and a lot of the
they played solid, but not where I think where we expected.
Not championship, not good enough to win. Not good enough to win a championship.
Fair enough.
But with this year, I'll be honest, I know that you can really kind of nitpick the defense apart, but you guys are down your best player. You just held Tennessee to a scoreless second half.
Sure.
And then you just held Alabama, probably one of the best rushing teams, to under 100 yards. I think, honestly, at this point, there's not a lot to be disappointed about with the defense.
So I think, what's funny is because the Gators have been known as a known defense team for a while. The offense hasn't really been a thing since Tebow. So we've always been heavy on the defense and crap on the offense. Sure. Now it's kind of changed a little bit. So it's weird for me as a fan to watch it because I'm used to our defense being pretty stout.
Because you guys were in a period for so long, kind of like where FSU is now, where the quarterback play was so below average that your defense had to be that great. And then so that's of course the thing that you relied on. Well, now that your offense starts to click, right? And Trask was there last year, and you guys had a great offense. Well, now you immediately look to the defense. This year it looks balanced. It looks balanced. You guys are going through some growing pains on the offensive side, but I think the defense has done enough to put you guys in a position to where even the Alabama game, what more could you have asked for out of your defense in that game?
I think a big part of it too is we're kind of, you said, more balanced than we've been before, and a lot of other teams aren't really kind of clicking on all cylinders. Right. You got Georgia and Bama, but you see everybody else. Nobody else in the top 10 looks sound by any stretch of the imagination. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame's undefeated, but they don't look like they're a powerhouse. Right. Oklahoma's undefeated. They look far from a powerhouse because going into Pick'ems later in the week, You picked West Virginia to cover 16. They almost won the game.
They almost won the damn game, yeah.
So
there's a last-second field goal is how OU got out of their own stadium with a win.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see kind of how the whole season plays out. I'm excited for it, but are the Gators a real threat is the question. What do you say?
Absolutely. Okay. Look, with AR-15 out, Emory Jones seems to have a little bit more comfort in the fact that any bad play isn't his last play of the game. The running game has been great. The defense has played significantly better than I think anticipation going in could have predicted. But look, all things considered, they've done what they needed to do. They've walked into a stadium with what everybody is saying is the best team in college football, and they went toe to toe with them for all 12 rounds and could have damn near won that game. So I don't think that anybody who's a Florida fan should feel like they aren't going to be competitive for a natty this year.
Sure.
They got to win that Georgia game. That Georgia game is the make or break of their season.
That's where I was headed. Yeah. I said I'll answer this question after Georgia, because that's going to be the make it or break it. I don't care about placing Bama again in the SEC championship. They have to get through Georgia.
Yep.
Georgia just beat Vandy 62-0. Like what? That might be the most sound team, to be honest with you. I mean, they haven't really played anybody to me to kind of give them that title besides Clemson, and we've established early on in this cast that Clemson isn't anything anyways. No. So who have they beaten? Now the teams they have, they've done well with, but Vandy's Vandy, right? I mean, that's kind of anticipated.
Right. It's
expected to be like that.
It's the basement of the SEC, so
yeah.
you expect
that
out of Alabama.
Sure. So it'll be fun.
It'll be good. I'm interested to see the development on both sides, offense for Bama and for Florida. I think that's going to be really what determines who's the better team at the end of the year, because both of you guys, Bama and Florida, are both going through quarterback transition.
Sure.